What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We got a massive update today about Black Ops 7 Zombies, and I just wanted to do a quick rundown of what we learned today. We got our intro cinematic. I thought the intro cinematic was great. Really interesting stuff that we learned today. I'm not going to go out and say that I think it was, perfect. I think it did a lot of what I wanted it to, and that it was probably better, in my opinion, than what we got with Terminus, but I also am still trying to be realistic about it, because I think that there's a strong chance that the story could fall right back apart once we get into the later maps. But I am glad to see that we're starting off at such a great point. I think that seeing the team work together so well already, using the idea that they've all had their souls stolen or whatever element that is that's being taken away from them, is a really great way to bond the team so quickly. I was worried how they were going to explain the teams coming together so quickly, but I think they did a great job of setting this up really well, and I think we got a great villain. This villain looks very promising. It's very supernatural, reminds me a lot more of classic zombies, and I think that that's really great. So I think that this entity is going to probably be one of the Shadowsmiths, which is something that we were introduced to in Modern Warfare Zombies, and I think that that's probably what we saw in the mirror at the end of Modern Warfare Zombies, because it looked like a character with a cowboy hat, so I'm assuming this is the same Shadowsmith we saw there. I believe that's right. I think that's the accurate term, Shadowsmith. But yeah, overall, I think that this was a great introduction to the map. I think that we got a lot of details about what this map's probably going to be, and the image we saw was great. I'm loving the vibe of this. I'm just worried ultimately about what the gameplay is going to be. We obviously didn't get any gameplay today. I figure we'll probably get gameplay tomorrow, hopefully, and then I'm still concerned about where the storytelling goes. I just think for the game we're going to be getting a lot of maps, and the storytelling really fell apart in Black Ops 6 the longer we went with each map, and I'm worried that that's what we're going to get in Black Ops 7 also. I'm also interested to see how they explain the original characters. Obviously we have Richtofen back, and Dempsey and Nikolai and Takeo, and I'm just not sure that they're going to do a good job of showing why they returned, if it's going to be Sam brought them back, if they're just new versions of these characters in our world, which I think that's a little confusing too, because we already know there's another Richtofen, so that seems confusing. I really think it has to be Sam brought them about, or we're getting back into a dimensional thing. I don't know. But yeah, ultimately I'm a little concerned about how they're going to fully tell us that story. And to go from there, even with Sam, we don't really know what the canon ending to the storyline is. We don't know, if siding with Richtofen, siding with Sam was the canon story, if it's even ultimately going to matter, if they're going to kind of just try to act like both were kind of canon and just kind of, continue the story and not really even fully touch on it. Maybe we don't even see this version of Richtofen again. I don't know. I feel like we're in a very interesting place with the storyline right now, where I don't think a lot of people have been very satisfied with the story anyway, and now we're moving into a place where the story might even be more unsatisfying with the return of older characters. So I just ultimately hope that, we continue to see a positive move in the right direction for storytelling. Then on top of that, with gameplay, I think we're in for a really potentially great map. The fact that we've already moved towards what people refer to as Warzone Zombies, and this is going to be more of an open world transit-inspired map, using, the elements that we've kind of learned to use in Zombies in the last couple years. I think that, this map has a lot of really great potential. With the Wonder Vehicle, with traversal, with open world elements, I think it could be cool, and it's still going to be very round-based, it sounds like they made a big emphasis on this is a round-based map still. I think that we have a lot of really great potential, and that's why I'm really hoping we get gameplay tomorrow, because I'd really like to start breaking down the gameplay and really starting to see what, this mode looks like, and if it really feels like a round-based map, or if it feels like something kind of in between, more like a transit, even though transit obviously was still a round-based map. But yeah, I'm just curious. I'm curious to see how they blend it, if it feels like transit, or if it feels even more open world, all of that stuff. So overall, I'm pretty happy with what we learned about Black Ops 7 Zombies today. I don't have a whole lot of, I'm not upset about the story. I think the story telling is looking good. I just worry that it could fall apart the further we go into it, similar to how Black Ops 6 fell apart the further we went into storytelling. I also don't feel like they had the same end point, though, like the same goal. I feel like we're in a place where there's a much better story to tell. There's more supernatural elements. There's more characters. There's a bad guy that we're actually, positioned against. So I think there's a lot better of a potential overall for the storytelling than I felt like there was at Terminus last year. And not to say that they couldn't have told a good story from Terminus. I think that they could have. I just don't think they did. And I just think there are more dominoes here to knock down, I guess, with there being a bad guy, with us not really knowing what exactly is happening with, the original crew. That's another thing I want to touch on. The original crew. I really hope that we don't go the whole Black Ops 7 storyline not knowing why the original crew is back. That's something I would personally be really disappointed in. I don't really mind us maybe going a map or two without knowing why the original crew is back, but please tell us why the original crew is back, and definitely don't leave us hanging the whole game, and then potentially even another game. I hope we don't get to the last map of Black Ops 7, and we still don't know why the original crew is back. That would be crazy. That would be that would be horrible storytelling. I know Black Ops 6 just kind of almost did that same thing. We still didn't really get all of the information that we wanted out of Black Ops 6. But if they do that for a second year in a row with the original crew, that's just too much. Anyway, I think that's it for the most part. Excited that we're getting a good bad guy again. Excited that, this looks cool. I like the way that they're bringing all the characters together. Excited about the gameplay, open world, cross round based design. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was revealed today that I should talk about. The 8 characters, they showed that off. I think they did some screenshots of some of the characters. I probably have put those on screen at some point. Seeing everybody teamed up was cool. Love the way that everybody, is working together. I think that they've done a good job of making that all make sense with, the common, souls sucked out of their body, whatever, entity that was taken from them. And again, the bad guy's cool. I'm excited. I think that, definitely, I don't know if it's the same as some of the previous, zombies bad guys, but definitely a cool bad guy. And, finally tying into some Modern Warfare zombie story, which I know some people maybe don't care about that, but the fact that, we've had this story since Cold War, and we still haven't gotten some of these things, revealed or, follow up on some of the stories. So to actually see them kind of touching back on something from a previous zombies game that isn't one of the main, just from the Black Ops 6 story that we just got, very cool. I'm glad that we're actually maybe going to start seeing some effects from all of the different avenues. I'd still like to see them touch on things from Vanguard. I feel like there's still things from Vanguard that we don't know about too, and I know Vanguard wasn't as interesting or as important, and I didn't play Vanguard zombies. Actually, that's the only zombies of the current zombies I haven't played. But Court Effects was still interesting, and I wouldn't mind seeing more information about Court Effects and the other god things that they hinted at in Vanguard. So yeah, this kind of just turned into me ranting about the current state of zombies here at the end, but I think it's important. I think that, if you're going to tell this story and you're going to do all of these games, even if some of these zombies experiences weren't very good or certain people didn't like them, it's still important. It's story that you decided to tell. We should get the story. But yeah, that's me ranting over. I'm over the ranting. Other than that, I don't have much to say other than thank you for listening to my ranting. I would love to hear from you all about, what you thought about the Black Ops 7 Zombies intro. Any theories you have, if you think that I missed something, or if you think that I said something that you disagree with and you think maybe something else is happening, I would love to hear about that. I will be happy to talk about it in the comments. And I think that's about it. Please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I will have more info up tomorrow, I'm assuming. We'll probably get gameplay or more reveal stuff for the map, so I will definitely have another video up tomorrow. And I can't wait to talk about it and see what they reveal, hopefully gameplay. I would love to break down some gameplay, try to actually understand what this map is. So, thanks again, and I will see you all in the next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace out, everybody.